but Niners.
This is Kyle Juszczyk, and you're listening to Nothing But Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, hits to his right, gets to the 20. He's in the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks the third tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's in the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst breaking tackle after tackle, sweeps down the sideline. Throws off bodies like clothes after a marathon.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He died. Touchdown, 49ers.
Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in post, and it's good. Touchdown! Touchdown 49!
It is second down. Ryan takes the snap, throws the slant to the left side. It's Russell, intercepted! The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption! Navarro Bowman running it all the way for the touchdown! No greater redemption!
The San Francisco 49ers, we can do whatever we want.
Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? It's your boys Mike and Tony from the Nothing But Niners crew. And guys, we are back to have another fun-filled episode, man. We got our long-time resident GM since the start of this whole thing, man. Our guy, Tony, is in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, make some mother-freaking noise. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. Huh? Yeah. I'm hyped. I'm hyped. And I'm hyped. All right. Enough of the applause, man. Callie Young is in the building, man. He's already showing some love to my Buck Eyes. Let's go, baby. Yeah. Introduce a new playoff format in NCAA, and the Ohio State Buckeyes will be the first team to win in that format now. Huh? How do you like that? We did it when they did the last one, and then this one right here. Boom, boom, boom. We in there, man. We are in the building. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Kev is in the building. Callie's in the building. Elijah is in the building. Dan is in the building. 805 Blackbeard. What's going on, everybody? And all to those of you who are not even commenting, we really, really appreciate you all. You guys are the real MVPs, and I'm dropping bombs for all of y'all out there. Let's go, baby. All right, let's run through the formalities. And then I'm going to shut up, all right? If this is your first time here on the YouTube page, follow the instructions on the bottom, scrolling across the screen right now. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then turn on your notifications so you know exactly when we are going live. Give us a follow on Snapchat and X. Those handles are Nothing But 9. That's the number 9, Nothing But 9, ERS. And then follow us on Instagram and Twitch and Facebook. Those handles are Nothing But Niners. That is spelled all the way out. And by the way, let me go ahead and go live right now on Twitch. Twitch is still a thing, right? Like that's not a Chinese company that they took away from us. Is that still active, Tony? Is that we still got that one, right? For now? All right.
Couldn't do that.
All right. Tony, man, it's been a long time since the people have heard from you, man. How are you doing? What the hell is going on with you, man? What's up?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there, just working. Really busy time of the year. Well, really busy in the industry. That's it, man. Just working. That's all I'm doing. I've been paying attention to things going on. There's a lot to talk about. Some things like that are really annoying, and some things that hopefully could turn out good. But we'll see how it rolls. Turns out.
Yeah, we are going to jump into all things 49ers. We're going to talk about a couple of things that have been going on. Tony and I, guys, you guys might know this already, but we're some East Coast Jersey guys, man. Tony, it's been so long since we talked. I don't even know if you saw any of the drones. Like, is that still happening over there in Jersey? Because I don't know what's going on. It just all the drone talk just stopped. It just went away. I know that has nothing to do with 49ers, but I got to ask you what your thoughts were when all that shit was going on, and how you're feeling about it now, and what happened.
I mean, you don't see it as much. They're still up there. I actually saw one the other night going to work. But they're big, bro. Like
that's the thing. I never saw any of the big ones.
Bro, they're big. And they just like I was driving, right? And I'm pulling into the back lot to park in the garage. And I'm just looking at this thing in the sky. Like, like planes, they have clear lights, red and green lights, like right and left wings.
Mhm.
And I'm just looking at this thing, and it's just like, you see a plane, it moves. This thing just, and you just see the lights.
stationary. Yeah.
And I'm like, is that like a tower or something, like a cell tower or like a radio station tower or an antenna of some type? That thing, they're big, bro. Like they're big. Like there's reports out of like Ocean County that an off-duty cop was in Seaside or something at Spicy's having a drink with a couple of friends of his, and all of a sudden he saw like a bunch of these things flying off the ocean. So they called like the Ocean County Sheriff's Department, and they launched their drone up in there, and their drone couldn't keep up with these things. So it's kind of like, what the hell is going on? But it's simmered down a lot since then. But it's just concerning. I mean, I don't know what it's tied to, but whatever it is, it's crazy. It's like the Chinese spy balloon, the weather balloon that went across.
You remember that thing? Oh.
It went right across the country, all over our military bases. Just for shits and giggles. But
yeah. All right. So I mean, listen, man. I'm glad that the drones didn't take anybody away. I think that this is supposed to happen. I mean, we've been watching commercials for years, and I've seen drones delivering Domino's pizza in commercials. Haven't seen that in real life. I've seen drones delivering Amazon packages in commercials. Haven't seen that in real life. I mean, why are we so surprised? I don't get it. And the fact that we can identify these things as drones, because my brother's been flying drones for years now. I mean, they're obviously going to get bigger, stronger, faster. So like I think this is just the natural progression of things. It's kind of like
they're saying there was drones over. Again, there was drones flying over Earl Weapon Station in like Keyport area, Middletown area.
Yeah,
and it's a military base, and there's reports saying that this drone's like the size of a Mini Cooper.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I've heard that they're like the size of small cars and things like that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's just scary, bro. And no one's doing nothing about it. They just let them fly around. It's just like, okay. Well,
and that's what comforts me. The fact that there was nothing done about it tells me that it was more controlled than what we thought it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, but the flip side of it is they know something that they're keeping from the people. That's I think the government.
But I think that's the government's job. I do think. Yeah. I think it's the government's job to try to control or minimize mass hysteria. I'm not mad at that.
Then you got people trying to shoot off rifle rounds up at like 223 rounds.
You saw the videos. People yeah. By the way, people have terrible aim. If you've ever seen a bullet shot at nighttime, you can actually see like how it moves and everything.
Yeah.
And people have terrible aim. Like I was disgusted with some of the videos I saw.
But the thing is, like, there's another video of a guy shooting a shotgun, but if you shoot buckshot, it ain't going up there. Yeah, you're just blasting that shit into the air.
Yeah. So, all right, man. So listen, enough of that. Let me see. We've had a presidential election, and we've had the inauguration and all, and we have had nothing happening on the front of the 49ers' 2 coordinator positions. Technically 3. Right? Technically 3 are still vacant, even though Kyle kind of told us that 1 was going to be filled, and they kind of ran it back. So, Tony, man, let's start there, man. What are your thoughts on the 49ers' level of diligence with their searches to fill these coordinator positions?
I'm going to start with the offensive coordinator spot, and people are right away. Kyle don't know what he's doing.
Well, wait, I'm sorry. I want to rephrase it. I want a review of how each of these coordinators did last year, including Kyle as the offensive coordinator, right? Because technically he had that title last year, right? Even though he told us
they split it.
Yes. Okay, there you go.
They split it. So as far as the offensive coordinator spot and how they went out, they're talking about promoting Kubiak. Myself, I did not know you had to go outside and fulfill the Rooney Rule for a in-house promotion.
Coordinator position.
Like an in-house promotion. I did not know that. So, I mean, right away, people are, Kyle don't know what he's doing. He's this, he's that, whatever. It is what it is. But I honestly think it was an honest mistake because they did it with Mike McDaniel. Then Mike McDaniel left. And then, like, They brought in the passing game coordinator title and the run game coordinator title. Those are both coordinator spots that they didn't have to follow the Rooney Rule for, and then they went to offensive coordinator, which is a combined coordinator spot, and now they're saying he did not follow the Rooney Rule for that. So I didn't know that, so I'm not blaming Kyle for that. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, so following the spring of 2022, the spring league meeting that they have, the Rooney Rule was expanded to include women as a part of minority candidates. NFL teams are now required to interview at least 2 minority candidates for vacant head coach, GM, and coordinator positions. So this is a fairly new rule, by the way. That was the conclusion of the spring meeting in 2022. So it is kind of new, guys. Like, we haven't really filled, other than the coordinator positions, like, we haven't really done that. So, all right, I just wanted to put that out there.
See, I hate that. I don't hate that rule. I don't like that rule because right now, what's going to transpire, right? So they're going to say, well, they're only interviewing them because of the Rooney Rule. No, like, let these guys interview. Like, it doesn't matter, black, white, whatever. Like, the Niners have been known to hire minorities: Saleh, McDaniel, Carthon, all these guys, and they made all these comp picks off of doing that. And the one time they slip up off of, in my opinion, I'm going to say it was probably an honest mistake, but now they're jumping on Kyle. Like, come on. But as far as the offensive coordinator spot, it was the same 2 guys. I mean, the passing game coordinator was Kubiak. The run game coordinator was Chris Forrester, the offensive line coach. Now they're giving it to Kubiak full-time as the full-time offensive coordinator. They interviewed the wide receiver pass game coordinator from Iowa State, who did not cross paths with Brock Purdy, but was around Trey Lance at North Dakota State. Listen, the 49ers are so tight-lipped with stuff, with their staff, with their roster, the moves that they're making, their in-house stuff. They're so tight-lipped with it. You don't know who's not under contract, and you don't know who is under contract as far as their wide receivers, positional coaches, right? Maybe they're looking at this guy to come in and potentially upgrade over Hankerson, right? Because let's face it, Cowing didn't get on the field this year. Draft picks that they invested in the wide receiver position didn't fully come to fruition and develop. So maybe they're potentially looking for a new wide receiver coach. I don't know.
That word is key. So you said that Cowing didn't get on the field. He was on the field, but he didn't develop. He wasn't used regularly. You could probably count on your 2 hands how many times he was even targeted all year. So that's not good development, especially with the injuries that we had at that position. So that's very, very concerning that he couldn't become a part of the offense. So
So I mean, maybe they honestly brought this guy in. They interviewed him. They just slapped the offensive coordinator title in to fulfill the Rooney Rule, and maybe there's a spot on that staff that we don't know about that he could be potentially being considered for. Kyle likes to bring them in young, develop them right into his program, and then when the time comes, here you are, you're elevated to the wide receiver coach, you're elevated to the passing game coordinator, or you're elevated to the offensive coordinator. So, it is what it is. Kyle Shanahan is the play caller on his team. It's not going to change, but a key factor is something you've never seen before is Kyle Shanahan let him call plays last year in the final game of the year. People say, well, it didn't mean nothing. I think it's coincidence that he allowed him to call those plays in that game. And then the exit meetings, the conference that they had after the exit meetings for the end of the year.
He was going to be the coordinator.
I think there's going to be a little shift in momentum here as far as we're helping Kyle. Because if you listen to Kyle, he helps him with the game plan and stuff, the install and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe there might be a time where Kyle might say, hey, what do you think of this? What are you seeing up there? Because he's probably going to be up top. I'm going to be honest with you. Right. So we'll see.
And don't forget that he also called all 3 of the preseason games as well.
Correct.
And Kyle said after the first one, I'm going to do it. And then at the end of the game, it was like he did it, but I'll do it for the final. And then he did it again at the last one. So, he started the year the same way he ended the year. And I think he developed some confidence in him throughout the season. How do you think the Niners' offensive play calling, design, and all that? Did you notice any major changes in the scheme this year? How do you think they looked overall offensively? As far as I'm not talking about points per game. Like I don't want the face value stuff. I want the deeper.
This year is a big difference from previous year. And I think it's more entailed to the injuries that this team has suffered. Trent Williams not being there. The offensive line banged up. Brendel had a bad season, in my opinion. He's not what he was. No CMC. You're down to your fourth and fifth running back in the backfield. Wide receivers are banged up. Kittle was in and out of the lineup all year. So I think they became more of a pass-happy team than a balanced team or a heavy run team. But, like, if you look at it, the one thing that I like what Kubiak did versus then what Kyle did in season, I kind of feel like I like how Kubiak rolls Brock in and out of the pocket. Like on a naked bootleg, he'll have the backside tight end come across the formation and hit him on a shallow slant, which is always there. Or a wide receiver could do that. You have a high-low read. Actually, you have it's a three-tier read. You would have the flat, the 10 to 12-yard crosser, and then the deep go. Or a backside post route. So I like some of the things I saw with Kubiak. But I also think Kyle knew. I think they knew what this season was going to be about after a certain point in the season with all their injuries, especially at the trade deadline. I think the trade deadline told you everything you need to know what they thought this season was going, where it was going.
True or false? Kubiak does more half-field reads than Kyle.
Well,
you talked about rolling out.
That's a trick question because on a rollout, it's a half-field read.
Right.
So therefore, by him doing the rollout, sprinkling that into his package of play calls, you have to say yes. But still, I think Kubiak's offense is a full progression system.
Okay.
But it's just I like how if there's an issue with the pass protection, he'll get Brock out of that pocket, come across, boom, and that's something where you got to get. It's kind of like all right. Let's calm him down. Let's get him into a rhythm. And that's the perfect play you do because you have an advantage, right? You have the quarterback escaping the backside pressure. So not only has front side pressure, and now you have a receiver that has a step on an inside release to come across the whole formation. So those two combos makes it more of a favorable situation for the quarterback and get a completion going down the field and trying to get the offense in some type of rhythm.
Absolutely.
But as far as the defensive side of the ball, and I think this is something we really need to speak about. The defensive side of the ball, what's transpiring is a little concerning.
Wait. Hold on. Where is it? Hold on. I got it somewhere in here. Where is it? There it is.
Love that soundboard. So, with that being said, I kind of feel like he goes into the press conference saying that he's open for change and scheme versatility. Scheme versatility. And you say that, but you only interview two people, which both fulfilled the Rooney Rule.
Right.
So you're talking about versatility, changing your looks. Personally, I think the cover three screen, I think that defense that he's trying to run is done. I think it's outdated. I think teams know how to shred that defense.
When you say he, who are you talking about?
Kyle. Because all he keeps saying is, I really like that defense. I really like that defense. I really like that defense. Well, why do you like this defense so much when your offense shreds it and 3/4 of the league is using your offensive concepts? So I don't understand that. I think I think this team is so obsessed with Chris Kocurek that they don't want to move off this scheme. I'm being serious. Listen, Kocurek is a good coach. I'm not going to lie, but I just think if you don't have two stout defensive tackles with that can take a ton of pressure off those two inside linebackers, that wide nine scheme is dangerous, and you saw it this year. Teams just
dangerous in a bad way.
I see, I've never seen the Niners give up so many 100-yard rushers or so many inside runs for long, like extensive yards, big yardage gains, and I just never seen that in a while, and you're seeing it. So my thing is this, and this is where it gets tricky, right? I honestly feel that he wants Saleh back. I think he came into this offseason knowing that his number one target was going to be Saleh.
Right.
But what I don't like is why are we waiting, right? Because let's look at this. Number one, Robert Saleh was fired from the Jets. Immediately,
a long time ago.
Immediately came out and said, I'm taking time off. I'm going on vacations with my family. Not even 3 days later, he's in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Now,
not here.
To me, that's a flag. Unless the 49ers decided we're not doing anything in season, we're going to talk with Saleh at the end of the season and bring him back as our defensive coordinator. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. That's probably what they said. I'm hoping. So, my thing is this. Granted, I respect Saleh. Fine. You deserve to be a head coach over a defensive coordinator. If that's your preference, you want to do that, that's fine. We respect that. But my thing is this. You got to look at, first of all, I don't think Jacksonville is it because someone just announced that the guy from Tampa Bay, their offensive coordinator, is the leading candidate right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're dealing with a spiteful Trent Baalke who hates the 49ers. So he's just stringing this out to screw the 49ers. But if you look at what's transpiring, they originally started with interest. Jeff Ulbrich was going to be the lockdown 49er defensive coordinator. The 49ers sniffed around Ulbrich last year before they hired Sorensen. There's a pattern here, right? There's a pattern of settling on somebody to fulfill your spot, to get somebody. Settling. And I don't like settling. So the track record is Ulbrich. Shit, we can't get him. Sorensen, Staley. Right? That was last year. This year, we got I don't know how to say this guy's name. Amarando from Cincinnati, who has an excellent record versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not going to say that. Who gives you scheme versatility of a 4-3 and a 3-4 concept in his scheme. That's one. Then you had Dennis Allen. That's two. Then you had, Jeff Ulbrich. That's three. All three of those guys did not get an interview from the 49ers, which I found to be weird, especially Ulbrich. So now you're talking about, they do have Staley on the staff. Robert Saleh is going to be the highest paid defensive coordinator, and the 49ers are putting all their eggs in their basket for him. Well, what happens if Robert Saleh gets hired by the Raiders or the Cowboys?
Right. What if he takes a head coaching job?
Where are we? Where are we? Staley? Okay. Now, here's where this is what pisses me off. Here's where it gets funny. Saleh gets hired for a head coaching opportunity. Congratulations. I'm sure if I was in his shoes, I would want to be a head coach over a coordinator. That's everyone's goal, right? Full control, more money, more protection, more say. That's it. It's your team. You run the roost. You're the head of the roost right now. But what happens if they settle? Again, there's that key word, settle, with Staley, right?
Yeah. That's
what kind of defense did Staley run?
He ran I saw 3-4. I even saw 5-man front. So I don't know what his
base principle is a 34 front with versatility, with a 5-man front, 4-man front. That's what he ran. Now, who took him under his wing and molded him?
McVay.
No.
Over in LA?
Who was the defensive coordinator that took Staley under his wing and worked with him and taught him the 3-4 system?
Oh, who?
Now, this is where I get pissed off. 2 years ago, who did the 49ers wanted to hire? Who was hanging around the 49ers as a civilian just giving thoughts and working with Kyle?
Who?
Actually, it was – you don't know? You don't remember? Vic Fangio.
I mean, I know Fangio was hanging around, but
yes,
he
was his top lieutenant. Well, I guess, so to speak. He was his top guy in Chicago when Fangio was there, Staley.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So if Kyle said no to Fangio, who's light years advanced and more experienced than Staley, why are we settling for Staley when you could have had Fangio?
So the only way I can make logic out of it is if he wanted Staley to get experience in this current system.
That's the problem.
So then it's just more part of the course. Nothing's going to change.
Problem. What is so good about this defense?
I want you to tell me because I can't call it. I don't see it.
What is so good about this defense? I'm dying to know. They lost one Super Bowl with Saleh as the defensive coordinator, right? They lost another Super Bowl with Wilkes as a defensive coordinator that had to learn this system. Okay? And we can go back and forth. We can debate this all night, if it was the offensive, defensive fault, whatever. But the team went to overtime with the lead and lost it. That falls on the defense. Mm-hmm. So what is so damn good about this defense? Me personally, I think this defense was better under DeMeco Ryans.
Oh, okay.
I think this 49er defense was better under DeMeco Ryans than it was with Saleh. My personal opinion. I mean, Saleh had a lot of talent on that. He had Buckner. He had Bosa as a rookie. He had Armstead. He had D Ford. But they played together as a unit and flying around but like they were just unreal. But
yeah,
why? What is the obsession with this system? I'm trying. I'm just trying to figure this out. I don't know what the obsession is with this system, but I think the system is outdated. I think teams have it and know how to attack it from any angle. Mm-hmm. And I honestly think they need to transition. I'm not saying a 3-4, but I just think they need to make a change. And they had more than one opportunity to do it with some decent caliber names this year. Now,
they didn't even bring them in.
The sidetrack of this, the other part of this is this. And if I'm Kyle, if I'm thinking the way Kyle's thinking right now, I think he knows in the back of his head, if this blows up, I think he knows that he has Gus Bradley sitting there doing nothing right now. And if you remember when he got hired in San Francisco originally, Gus Bradley was the original defensive coordinator he wanted, but Gus Bradley went
to Jacksonville, was it? Was it Jacksonville?
No, I forgot what. I think Chargers? It was either Jacksonville or the Colts. How long was Gus Bradley? I don't remember, but they had interest in Gus Bradley, and you haven't heard of Pete. Now, I understand they're very tight-lipped with shit like this, but you see all these teams interviewing all these guys for positions.
He was in Jacksonville from 13 to 16, and then he went to the Chargers from 17 to 20.
That was the year.
And that 17 to 20 was when he was a defensive coordinator for the Chargers.
That was the year.
Jacksonville was a head coach, though, from 16 up to 16.
That year in 17, that's the year Kyle came in. And they wanted him, and they settled. There you go. Settled on Saleh.
There's the word. Yep. There's the word.
They have to stop settling.
Yeah.
All right. That's the defensive coordinator thing. So before I move on from the defensive coordinator thing, this team cannot put any plan, or us as content creators can't put any plan together for an offseason because you don't know what scheme you're running.
Bingo. All these mock drafts and all that stuff, none of it makes sense until you know what you're drafting for.
Correct.
None of it. So you're handcuffing all the scouts. You're handcuffing everybody. Everyone is at a standstill. Now, maybe they know for a fact they're going to stick with the system. And so the scouts know who they should be scouting.
Yeah.
But us, as like you said, content creators, we don't know because we don't know what the plan is.
So now that was the defensive spot. And just real quickly, the special teams thing is easy, so I'm just going to hit on it. If they do not hire Chris Tabor, I'm done. You cannot give the special teams coordinator spot to Nick Sorensen. I'm sorry. His special teams legit that 1 year where Chris Forrester. Why do I keep saying this fucking guy's name? Brian Schneider left. He took a leave of absence from Jacksonville, and
Nick Sorensen.
Nick Sorensen took over that year and was fired the next year. His special teams unit was dead last.
Yeah.
There's an issue going on here, right? And I listen to me. And I'm not about to start with the fire Kyle shit. I'm not like that. I'm not with that. But I will tell you this. He has too much. What's the word I'm looking for?
Cachet?
No, he's too. Protective? No. Too much loyalty to people that he likes.
Ooh, now we talking, baby. Now we talking. Now you're getting into my shit.
You're seeing it. You're starting to see it now. There's no way in hell Sorensen should hold any coordinator spot on this team. You want to keep him as a positional coach. You want to keep him as help him out with the secondary, because I will give Sorensen credit. The year he was he ran those turnover meetings, the Niners had a lot of turnovers under when Willis, not Willis, when who was our coordinator last year? Willis,
Wilkes.
Steve
Wilkes.
When Wilkes was here, they turned the ball over a lot with Sorensen running those meetings, right? The turnover meetings. They got turnovers. So I'm okay with a role like that. But Tabor is experienced, proven, well-respected. I understand he was out of the league last year because he was fired late as the interim head coach of the Carolina Panthers. He didn't get an opportunity. And like Nigel said, they had Bones Fossil out there, who's known as to be a top special teams
coordinator. Yeah,
right?
Guys from
Special
the
teams
Cowboys.
coordinator. How can you just sit there and be passive and just, again, settle on somebody because he's there? No. You need to change. You need to evolve, because guess what? The league is evolving around you, and if you don't evolve around them, you're going to be running in quicksand. You're not going to get anything done.
Right.
The offensive side of the ball, I'm not worried about, because I think Kyle knows what he's doing. Is it perfect all the time? No, but he always has the ability to scheme, to get somebody open. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But I'll tell you this. From day one when he was here to now where we're at, as bad as that season was last year, that offense was still a top 10 offense. As bad as that sounds. I don't know. I was reading a statistic. I don't know if it was – obviously it's not points. I don't know if it was production. It was something. It was ranked as a top 10 offense. I think it was like 8 or something. And you're playing without 3/4 of your stars on the offensive side of the ball. But push comes to shove. The special teams need an upgrade. When I saw they interviewed Banjo, the assistant from Denver, I was like, wow. I said, you know what? I think he's a young, up-and-coming coach. He played the position, D'Amico Ryans. He was very good at what he did as a special teamer, D'Amico Ryans. And he was productive. He was an ace. He was a special teams ace. Young, new philosophy, new thoughts, intensity, hyped up young guy getting a promotion. And you just look at the success rate of guys like that in the league. Look at one of the best special teams players the 49ers had under Harbaugh, Bubba Ventrone. He turned out to be a phenomenal special teams coach. He's got his break with the New England Patriots as an assistant. And I think he's now the head special teams coach in Cleveland. If I'm not 100% sure, but he has a special teams role. He has a full team under him now. So they have to bring in Tabor. The defensive coordinator spot, as much as I want to see change, it's got to be Saleh, because you can't settle unless you're 100%. And this is the thing. If they're 100% confident in Staley, why don't you just name Staley from the rip? Like, why aren't they? Why is everything, well, we're going to keep him here. But if that falls through, we'll be like, you know what? Staley was our guy from day one. No. You're not selling that shit to us because we picked up on your bullshit. So you can't do that no more.
Right.
You sniffed around Belichick last year. You sniffed around, what's his name last year? Who's the guy? Spagnuolo. I said last year, Spagnuolo should have been your defensive coordinator. You should have went to Jed and say, listen, Jed, I can't handle both sides no more. All right? I can't do it. I'm running out of talent on the coaching staff, on the coaching side of things, and I can't keep replacing people with people that I don't have. I want someone to come in here and say, this is my scheme, this is my vision, this is it. How much do you want? $8 million? Here's your check. Thank you. Welcome to the 49ers. That's what they should have done last year. Because if they're offering the blank check to Saleh, they should have offered it to him last year to No, the Chiefs guy.
Oh, Spagnuolo. Yeah.
Spagnuolo. These names, I can't remember these damn names. But they should have went in with that mentality last year. And if a guy wants to bring his guy in, his people in, right? Because think about it. When Fangio was the defensive coordinator in San Francisco under Harbaugh, he brought his whole crew in. Him, Ed Donatel, him and Ed Donatel are like this. You're not getting Fangio without Donatel.
Right.
And you're not getting Donatel without Fangio, vice versa, whatever. So you got to say, all right, Spags, here you go. This is my current staff. I would like for you to keep some of them. If you don't, I understand. Here you go. The keys are in your hand. You got the keys to the Ferrari. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
Do you think Kyle would have took the job? Think about this. Do you think Kyle would have taken the job if Jed York sat down and said, you know, Kyle, I really want you here, but I want Chip Kelly as your offensive coordinator? What do you think Kyle Shanahan would have said?
I know what he would have said.
Exactly.
Kyle Shanahan would have easily said,
Excuse me, bitch.
You understand what I'm saying? Like he's that way for him, but he doesn't do it for others.
and the one time Jed York did do that, he put his foot down. I don't know if you remember, we ended up being stuck with Tom Sula. Yeah. We ended up being stuck with Jim Tom Sula as a head coach because Fangio wanted the head coach, but they wanted to keep him as DC. He didn't want to be leapfrogged and all that stuff, and so it was a big issue. They ended up letting everybody go, and we got stuck with Jim Tom Sula. And I think York has learned his lesson. I think York has stepped back and let these guys call whoever they want to call, bring in whoever they want to call. But that's immediately why I thought Wilkes wasn't going to work, because he came over with no staff. He came over with absolutely nobody. So it's like, all right, then what are we doing? You know, that whole Wilkes thing was a big red flag to me from the rip. I tried to warn everybody about it when it first happened. You're not getting a guy in here to be a coordinator of anything if he doesn't get to bring anybody with him. That guy's just a puppet. He's just coming in to be a yes man, and that wasn't going to work with anybody that's respected in the NFL. Not that Wilkes isn't respected. Let me be clear here. It was an experiment that failed massively. So we're 0 for 2. We did it and got stuck with Tom Sula. because Fangio was like, I'm not letting this guy leapfrog me. You know, I don't know if you remember, like Vic Fangio was in line and wanted to be the head coach, and they were like, oh, well, you have to make Tom Sula your defensive coordinator. And he was
There
like,
you
no,
go.
I don't want to do that. He said, no, I don't want to do it. I think York learned his lesson from that moment, right? Okay, this failed terribly. This blew up in my face. Absolutely not. Can't do it again. I don't think York has interfered anymore. He's going to get a lot of the brunt of this because people are going to think, oh, he's not opening up the checkbook. I don't think that's the case at all. I think
I'm not saying it's York. I just used an example. Like if Kyle would go for that, like what he probably does to the defensive coordinator candidates. That's even if they're
exactly. Yeah. All right. So you don't like the way special teams went this year. You don't like the way defense went this year. You were okay with the offense. Do you think Kyle values special teams yet?
I think now he does.
Good. So
and I just hope this hire.
Official.
I just hope this hire says it and he doesn't settle. I don't like settling. That's it. That's something for I hate it. I don't like settling.
All right,
like
so I'm gonna
I'm trying to go to we're going to Mexico this year. We're about planning to go to Mexico. And you know, the one place that we usually stay is expensive. And she's like, well, why don't we just go? No, I don't settle. I'm not going just to go. If I'm going, I'm going to go where I want to go.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I want to get treated like a, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
But
so let me ask you this question. I asked it to Wayne at the end of our show earlier today. I'm going to ask you now. Do you think that people don't want to work with Kyle Shanahan? I want an honest opinion. Now, Kyle Shanahan has been like the golden child, right? And when he got the head coaching gig, it was a bunch of his buddies and a bunch of his dad's buddies, people that were working with him in Washington, him and his dad in Washington, and that's how he filled his staff. It was all about who he knew. Why no established GM candidates, right? You get the most inexperienced GM candidate in John Lynch. And I think John Lynch has worked out pretty well for the 49ers, I'll be honest with you.
But he surrounded all right. It's going on right now in New England. It's going on. Okay. This is the industry, Mike, right? This is the industry, right? Let's just say, hypothetically, you get hired as a coach of the Jets, we'll just say. You're going to tell me you're not going to call me, you're not going to call, if we were all on the football field, like in the football, you're not going to call me, Wayne,
right?
You know, whoever.
Yeah.
You're going to call people you know, you're going to call people you get along with, you're going to call people that you're comfortable with. And that's what's going on in the industry. It's not just the 49ers.
But I'm also going to shoot my shot. I'm going to say, hey, Tony, if I can't get Spags, what do you think about coming in? If I can get Spags, what if I get you a spot on my team?
Well,
right? Shouldn't the
you're going to
conversation
call no matter what?
ways?
It's just you're going to call no matter what because you want people you know and you're comfortable with. It's where you put them, or is the different thing?
Right.
You could say, all right, listen, I want to bring in who's a good one? I don't know. Do you want to bring in Josh McDaniel as your offensive coordinator? But you know I know offense. You know I know this. You know I know that. But your top target is McDaniel. But you say, I'm going to bring you on my staff. I don't know where I'm going to put you right now.
Right.
That's
the conversation we're having.
Yes. But still, you're going to bring the people in that you know. Mm-hmm. And I don't have a problem with that. But sometimes, and you got to realize something. We're very, very, very spoiled as 49er fans, right? Look at the transition that this – how about this? This is the way you know the 49ers are very successful in what they do as far as personnel hirings and coaching staff hirings. How many staff members off of Kyle's staff have gotten hired and we were rewarded with a third-round pick? Multiple third-round picks. You have Saleh. You have D'Amico. You have Mike McDaniel. Those are just guys that got head coaching spots.
Right.
Now we're going to flip it. We're going to flip it to the GMs. Mayhew, Rand Carthon. That's 5. Now we're going to
Forget
flip
Adam
it.
Peters.
Oh, and Adam Peters. That's 6. Now we're going to flip it. Now we're going to flip it to from positional to coordinator upgrades. Bobby Slowick,
guys.
LaFleur. They took what's his name? Took the former assistant head coach from us. I can't remember his name. He was a tight end coach. So he took 3 guys with him. So that's 5, 6. That's almost 10 people that Kyle, over a 3-year window, had to replace. Sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes you just get to the point where, okay, the wells ran dry. I have nobody left. John Embry, thank you. The well ran dry. There's nothing left. And I think right now, that's where they're at.
Yeah.
Yes, when Kyle was hired, he chose John Lynch. But you got to look at something. John Lynch, in my opinion, was chosen for 2 reasons. His history as a football player, his history as a Hall of Fame player, the type of work ethic that he has, the type of commitment that he has. That's one reason. And his second reason, the other Kubiak. So you're talking 11 guys. That's right. There's 2 Kubiaks.
Clint and Clay, yeah.
I don't even know who we have. So they're Kubiaks, whatever. So that's one reason why Lynch was brought on. The second reason, what do you think the second reason is?
His relationships. He had a lot of good relationships. In my opinion, I think that was a big reason also.
He has the gift to talk. He is the voice of the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan can't talk to people. He can't deal with media questions. It's John Lynch that's why John Lynch was brought here, in my opinion. Because the number one hire they made the minute John Lynch was hired, other than Kyle Shanahan, was who? A top personnel guy who just put the Washington Commanders in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, Peters.
So that tells you right there how this team was built. You got the coach, you got the mouth, and you got the talent evaluator. The talent evaluator got promoted, rubbed off on Lynch, which, by the way, since Peters left, they had an excellent draft class this year.
I thought they did a phenomenal thing. I was so excited to see what
I have to be honest with you.
Peters hanging over his shoulders.
I have to be honest with you. Gilliam and I forgot the dude's name. He was their top scout guy. Whatever, they'll come to me. But their 2 top guys right now did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job. And it makes you think if John Lynch truly said, all right, guys, Tariq Ahmad and Gilliam, you guys, you're going to run the show. Me and Kyle are going to talk about it. You give us your opinions. We're going to make the selection.
Yep.
You sell it to us.
That's what a GM is supposed to do.
Without the third party getting involved. You understand what I'm saying? Well, congratulations to Peters. He's in a great spot. They did a great job. But I miss Peters. The 3 of them were awesome in pictures. You see them on the sidelines together shooting the shit. It was great while it lasted, but congratulations to him. And I'm really excited with these 2 coming up through the ranks and earning this spot. And the first draft with them in charge was a pretty successful draft, and their undrafted free agent class as well. So if you look at all the talent that was picked, the talent and the staffs, front office and coaching that was plucked off this roster, you see why they're in the position that they're in right now, because you just can't replace these guys like this. Like it catches up.
You can wait. You can replace them, but you can't keep replacing them with buddies because you're running out of buddies to replace them with. That's the difference right there. That's the difference. We could have replaced Robert Saleh and D'Amico with established defensive coordinators, but they weren't your buddies anymore. We could have replaced our special teams coordinators, Hightower and now Sorensen, with good guys. We didn't even call the Cowboys guy. What's his name? Fossil. We didn't even call him. Who knew? I didn't even know he was available. I thought there was a chance he was going to stick with the Cowboys just because of the coaching change. I didn't think he was going to be gone because that's how good of a job he did last year, right? They didn't even they didn't bring anybody. They didn't bring him in.
I don't have a massive issue with hiring people that you know, but they have to be people that have had success. They can't
What
just
about
be
Diligence?
Huh?
What about Diligence? Their introductory presser said that they were going to turn over every stone to find the best people, whether it be players, coaches, coordinators. That's what they sold us on at their introductory presser.
Offensive coordinator. Forget about the offensive coordinator.
I'm not worried about the offensive coordinator.
The defensive
All the
coordinator,
other ones, they haven't done it.
Defensive coordinator. You got to remember something, Mike. It was never officially reported. It was never officially reported that they sniffed around Spagnuolo. It was never officially reported by the mainstream media, the Ian Rappaports, the Schefters. You know who said it? Kyle said it. Mm-hmm. We reached out to Belichick. We reached out to Spagnuolo, and they didn't. Things didn't go the way that they wanted. Belichick didn't want to come. He politely denied it. And Belichick was the only reason why we knew is because Belichick said it on a podcast. Mm-hmm. So how do you know this isn't transpiring behind the scenes and it's just not getting out?
Because there's a difference between a fucking text message saying, hey, are you interested, versus actually bringing someone in and interviewing them. The interviews are what gets reported, not reaching out and making contact with somebody.
Well, let's just say hypothetically, hear me out. Let's just say hypothetically, John Lynch called Bill Belichick because he has the rapport with Belichick.
Right.
Bill, we want to bring you in as a defensive coordinator. Would you be interested to come in for an interview and speak with me, sit down with me and Kyle? And what happens if he just said, John, I don't know what I want to do. I respectfully would decline right now. I'm at a crossroads. I don't know what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. I'm out here chasing 24-year-olds.
Nothing wrong with that. But you understand what I'm saying? Just because it wasn't like a formal interview. See, now that could fall under the thing, well, Belichick was a buddy of John Lynch. You understand what I'm saying? All these guys are cahoots. They're all in the league together. It's like the mafia. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's all. So I'm all right with that. It's fuck Adam Schefter and these losers. They don't have to know what the hell's going on, but like they could be reaching out to people and saying, "Listen, are you interested? Would you come and meet with us about a position on our staff?" I'm telling you, it's done. Spagnuolo probably shot it down because I honestly, if you offered,
you don't want to move your family, yeah.
It's not only the family. Like where are you going better than where you're at right now?
Right.
You're left alone. Nothing said. Your family's rooted. I mean, if they offered him $10 million, then Spagnuolo might have been the defensive coordinator last year. But I mean, the highest paid DC right now is $5 million. So, and it's not even Spagnuolo, it's Fangio. So I don't know. But as far as you asked me something, I was going to transition to something. I totally lost
people
myself.
Not like Kyle.
Yes. Okay. Here's the issue with that question. Offensively, that's out the window. I'm talking about the defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. How do you sell to come work for me when you've been through 3 defensive coordinators in 3 years?
Yeah.
2 fired, 1 got a promotion.
To me, it's an easy sell. We are committed to finding a really good defensive coordinator.
But what happens if it doesn't work?
What do you mean what happens if it doesn't work? I don't understand the question. That happened.
My thing is this, right?
Everybody.
My thing is this. If you come to me and say, I want you to come interview for my defensive coordinator, well, I'm going to say, well, you know what, Mike? You've been through 3 defensive coordinators in 3 years. I don't know if I want to do that. I'll uproot my family and come start there and have to worry about if I'm going to be back the following year. For maybe reasons that are out of my control, injuries, something. How do you know? Like, how do you know? Like that.
Then what you do is you point to Salah's first. You point to Salah's first year. We didn't give up on him, and Salah's first year was not a good year. I don't know if you remember that.
No, it's hard.
Not a good year. Yeah, We didn't give up on him, right? So you could talk about. It's interesting that you asked me that. I'm in the middle of interviewing guys because we have a position open. For my medical equipment technicians, right? Like so, the people that I'm in charge of at my job. I've got 20 guys under me. We've let go of 3 or 4. We've got some openings now, right? One guy that I interviewed today, he asked a very good question. What's your turnover rate here? How often are guys coming in and out of here, right? Because he's worked in the company. He worked at an office in Colorado. He worked at an office in Delaware. He's back out this way now, and he wants to work for us, right? And it's a really good question, right? So I answered the question honestly, and he asked about why the turnover is. I said, because we are committed to being the best. And if guys are going to come in here and half-ass it, we let them go. I said, but at the same time, we have a guy who's been here for 17 years. We've got another guy who's been here for 12 years. We've got a guy who's been here for 7 years. We've got a guy who's been here since I've been in this position that I hired as soon as I was given authority to do so, and he's been here and he's worked his way all the way up to the top. He is directly under me. He's my right-hand guy, right? So that's how you sell it, right? We aren't just going to settle for people who are going to half-ass it. If you come in here and you work hard, you're safe. You're secure. And we are going to understand when people call out injuries, right? We're not going to hold that against you. We want to know how you adapt and how you adjust. And as long as we can see the plan and we are trending in the right direction, we understand hiccups are going to happen. That's how you sell it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get people to come in here and understand why you've moved on from people in the last 3 years. Well, this guy was hired as a head coach. This guy just didn't get the job done. You saw what we saw. You saw the fourth quarter meltdown in the Super Bowl. We had to move on from him. We wanted to get this guy and that guy. They took positions at other places, so we promoted from within to see if he had what it took. He doesn't have what it takes. We're willing to move on, but we're also going to keep him employed here because we don't just abandon guys who have earned the right to stay. Now, whether or not Sorensen has earned the right to stay, that's you guys argue that at another time. But we don't just abandon people. We don't fire anybody in the middle of the season. We let people finish out the year. We are upfront with them. You know, I'm almost 100% sure Wilkes knew that he wasn't coming back. Wilkes said in week 14 or 15 when he spoke to the media, I'm not worried about what's going to happen after next year or after this year. He said that. He knew he wasn't coming back. I think that the team is upfront. Hey, this isn't working out the way we wanted to. You're secure for the rest of the year, but afterwards we're gonna go our separate ways. That there's nothing wrong with any of that in these situations. It's one of 32 jobs. And if you're not good enough, we are going to move on. Doesn't mean that we don't have a use for you somewhere else, but we're going to move on from you. That's still an appealing job. Look at our track record. Look at what we've done the last 3 of 5 years. Look at where we've been the last four seasons, right? Like, this is what we do. What other opportunity are you going to get? Now the rest of the NFC is starting to catch up with us, and now all of a sudden we don't look like the shining destination, right? All of a sudden there might be other places that people can go.
I don't know. I just think the issue is the track record over the 3-3 over the last 3 years, 3 in, 3 out. And the pushing of assistants. Yeah. And I want this type of scheme. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't see what is so good about this scheme. What is so good about it?
Well, forget the scheme for 1 second. Let's say you gave a defensive coordinator the position and allowed him to bring his staff in. Do you think his staff is going to get poached as quickly? Because let's be clear. D'Amico's last year, he was offered other opportunities and he turned it down to stay, right?
Yes.
So let's say you bring in a DC and his secondary coach, that guy, whoever he brings in to be his secondary coach is going to have some loyalty to the DC that gave him that opportunity. The guys don't have to go. We've seen that also. And so if you allow them to bring their people in, you can sustain a staff for maybe 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've seen it. So they just have to not just say just you and only you. Well, then now all of a sudden it's not somewhere that people want to be.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right. So I guess the question is, who are your top candidates remaining for each of these positions? I know you said that you want. I was about to say Tout. What's the guy's name for special teams?
Chris
You
Tabor.
said Tabor. You said that he's your top guy. Is Robert Saleh your top guy? Is it Gus Bradley? Is it someone else that I'm not talking about?
I honestly, Mike.
Well, first, tell me of the people that have been hired. Was there someone else that you preferred that's no longer available? And then of the remaining pool, where would you go?
I don't know. I want change.
I think Dennis Allen would have been phenomenal here.
I think Dennis Allen or the other guy, the guy that left Cincinnati.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
See,
about.
right, like this is my point, right? Niner Goat said the other guy too. That's Elberflus. Elberflus is another guy I would be interested in, where he runs more of the Tampa 2, a cover 2 scheme, which
John Lynch.
is a scheme that John Lynch played with his whole career. But
Bingo.
That's another story for another day. But my thing is this: I think they need change. I don't think this is this is it anymore. I think that once you saw Ulbrich leave and go to Atlanta, who has ties with Kyle, who runs the scheme, and he went to Atlanta, and I just feel, they're in a tough spot, right? I still think there's a slight window right now for next year. And the only reason why I'm saying it's slight is because of their schedule. They have a very favorable schedule in 2026.
Yeah, we have the 4th place schedule.
Yes. So that's where I'm at. So my thing is this, right? If you look at the Rams, like look at Shula's defense. I think that kid did a phenomenal year with that defense. Granted, they hit it out of the park with their draft this year. 2 starters, the first 2 rounds, 2 monsters out of Florida State. I watched those guys their whole senior year. Excellent players. Those guys came from shit. When I tell you they came from shit, one guy came from Albany State. That's Jared Verse. The other dude came from Boise State, the defensive tackle. They went to Florida State. They tore it up. They became powerhouses. First-round pick Verse. Second-round pick the defensive tackle, right? Both starters. Both got significant Pro Bowl votes as rookies. But my point being is this. Do you want someone young, fresh ideas, energetic, or do you want to go the veteran route, the Saleh, with that defense? I don't know if that's I love Saleh, don't get me wrong, but I just don't know if this is the defense for this team right now. I don't. I think this team's been exposed defensively with that scheme. I don't think the wide 9 is it no more. I don't know. Fisk, that was the guy's name. Thank you.
Is Saleh tied to wide 9? Like I know that's what they did, but like where, like why? Because the wide 9 thing was here. That's not what happened in Seattle.
No,
that's not what happened. Right.
Yes, it was here, but Saleh was hired with Jeff Zuniga was the defensive line coach with Saleh. He used to play for the Houston Texans. Then they fired him, and they brought in Kocurek.
Yeah.
That was the install of the wide 9. Now, let's look at this. The philosophy for the wide 9. Who was on the defensive line that year with the wide 9? 2 big horses in the middle, Buckner and Armstead. Both on one end and a speed demon and Ford on the other end. If you trot that out this season, the wide 9 could work. Because you have
have stout tackles.
You have 2 space eaters in the middle, 6'7" and 6'6". Buckner got double teamed 99% of the time he played. And it freed up Armstead 101, and then those 2 guys just flew up the field as defensive ends. But you saw what happened once they left.
And to no shot at the Niners, I think they tried to do a little bit of that this year. I think they wanted a healthy. What's the guy's name from the Eagles? He was the Buckner replacement.
Hargrave.
Hargrave. I think they wanted a healthy Hargrave and Collins as their defensive tackles. And then they had Floyd on the outside to play opposite of Bosa. I think they tried to replicate that this year.
They did. And I'll be honest with you, I thought Floyd played very well this year.
Yeah.
I thought he came on very strong. He was setting the edge. He was getting pressure. I mean, he didn't get home all the time, but he was always in that backfield making that quarterback step up. The problem was the inside wasn't there.
Yeah.
Right? You wonder why. You wonder how Buckner got double-digit sacks. How Armstead, his contract year, got what, 16 or 15 sacks?
I thought it was only 12, but it was a lot. It was double digits, though.
They double-digit sacks, right? You wonder, right? Because those guys stepped up, and then you had the two maniacs in the middle that cleaned up. That's the whole point of his defense. The outside force funnels everything in, right? But if you have a mobile quarterback and those guys pin up and he steps out and goes out, you got a whole edge that's wide open. But whatever. So back to Shula. That scheme that Shula was running is a 34 scheme with versatility of a four-man front, five-man front, three-man front. And it's just an aggressive scheme that he uses. It's a very creative scheme. There's no creativity. And is it funny how a football team is made up of thirds? 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. 33%, 33%, right? Football, the offense, defense, special teams. Is it coincidence that the most unprepared, poorest coach, least execution positions were fired?
I hope not. I hope it's not a coincidence. I hope it's learning from our errors.
Two-thirds of this team, two-thirds of this coaching staff was fired. The special teams coordinator and the defensive coordinator because of poor performance, poor preparation, poor design, blah design, no creativity, right? Why is it that they just can't get a guy just to come in and do their thing? Like Kyle's got to say, here, go.
Yeah.
Now, there's one thing that I'm just going to put out there as far as Schneider. When he had success with Seattle, Schneider was allowed to use starters on his special teams, not vets, starters. So if they were second, third, fourth-year player, they were contributing as special teams players. That wasn't happening in San Francisco. No.
Debo was his return guy.
I'm talking about like gunners. I'm talking about like protectors going down to make a tackle. I'm not talking about the skill position, like the return guys. No. But now if you're not using your starters or people that are getting starting reps on your offense and defense respectfully, and now you start sustaining injuries, now you're going further down the depth chart because, guess what? Mustafa and Renardo Green are starters now. So now you got to go to Joe Schmo and Bob Schmo.
Right.
That's a drop-off. Because I got to be honest with you, that week one where Mustafa and Green were running down the field on punt returns, punts, bro, they were flying down the field untouched. And due to injuries, you have to go further down your depth chart. Now, what happens when you go down further down your depth chart? You get less quality players. So it's hand in hand.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think they need to decide on a scheme, and I think they need to build this scheme with this draft. I'm telling you now, I would not be surprised if the first two picks in this draft are defensive linemen. I would not be surprised. I think this defensive line class is very deep, just based off of what I'm watching and like what I've watched this year. I mean, we got the East-West Shrine game, which is loaded with talent. You got the Senior Bowl, which is even more loaded with talent.
And the Niners coaching staff is all over these things.
The East-West Shrine game. They're not in the Senior Bowl. They're all over the East-West Shrine game, which is good because I think they're going to be able to get a lot of kids from that group, that East-West Shrine game, in day 2, day 3, and undrafted free agency.
Yeah.
I think I mean, I don't know. I think they can have a turnaround defensively once they decide on their scheme, like similar to what the Rams did. Like getting an end in the tackle with their first 2 picks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also think, well, I'm not going to get into it, but 11's a tough spot. It's a tough spot.
It's a good spot to be in.
It's a tough spot to be in because I don't think you're going to get. I think the kid Graham from Michigan is a phenomenal defense tackle. I think in an attacking gap scheme like what we would run here, I think he would be a monster for us. But I don't know I don't think he'll be at 11.
Yeah, but I think 11's a good spot because if someone is falling to that 8 range and you think that it's worth it, it's not going to take a ton to move up that far, right? Or if there's a lot of guys that are falling and you're comfortable, it's also easy to back out. So that's why I said I like 11. I think it's more advantageous than being 15, or it could even be more advantageous at being at 6, where you're undecided on exactly which guy.
The 49ers' best scenario would be is if the quarterbacks fall. If the top 5 picks aren't quarterbacks, because I don't think they're going to be.
Right. Well, I don't think there's. Well, never mind.
I don't think any of these kids are. I think the best quarterbacks can go day 2.
Interesting.
Or trade up into the bottom of round 1, and that's Jackson Dart. I think that's the only quarterback I would touch. I'm not going to get into it, but
now you said something interesting a couple minutes ago where you said you wouldn't be surprised if the first 2 picks are defensive linemen.
Yeah.
Do you think the defensive line is in more trouble than the offensive line?
I think they're going to go out free agency. I think they're going to sign Drew Dahlman as the center. I think they're going to sign a center because that's their history. They paid Richburg. They paid Mack.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to pay this kid Dahlman. I wanted the Niners to draft Dahlman that year coming out.
I remember, yeah.
There's no reason why they shouldn't have drafted him. He would have been a plug-and-play guy, and we would not have this conversation right now because he would have been extended. But I think the center position is crucial. I think Aaron Banks walks. I think Pooney's the right guard. I think McKivitz is going to be penciled in as the right tackle with competition. I think Trent, hopefully. Now, listen, shit could change. I mean, as far as Trent. I don't know what Trent is. I don't know what's going on with Trent. I mean, he's very rough time. Him, Mooney Ward, but those two, well, Trent's a wild card. Mooney Ward pretty much isn't coming back, and I don't think that's because the 49ers don't want him. I don't think he wants to be here. Nothing against the team, but just PTSD. So I think if Trent comes back, I think they draft a day 2 guard or day 3 guard. Like they did day 2 guard like they did with Pooney. All right. And they install Drew Dahlman as the center. You got Pooney. You got Trent, rookie, competing with Barch and Zakel. All right. Dahlman, Pooney, McKivitz. Now, fun fact on McKivitz. He actually had a pretty good statistical year of production last year. Not the future at right tackle whatsoever. But it's not a glaring need right now. This team has bigger issues. This team has bigger issues, Mike, and I don't think people realize it. They have very big issues. And I'm going to tell you right now, if they trade down, I honestly, there's 2 guys that are not, well, one of them is not a must need. If they don't trade down and they stay at 11, you're going to have 2 guys that are going to, one definitely will be there and one might not be there. And if they do the BPA, if they stay true to BPA, not need, BPA need, if they just say, shit, he's number 1, take him. The safety from Georgia. I forgot his fucking name. Stocks? 1 second. Un minuto. I don't know if he's in this book. Let me see. 1 second. Malachi Starks from Georgia. He's a difference maker.
Okay.
That kid's a difference maker. I seen that kid come down in the slot and cover people one-on-one. I seen him play center field. I seen him play 2 deep. Offers you versatility. That's number 1. And the tight end from Penn State.
You like him, huh?
I think that kid, a 1-2 punch of him and Kittle, juice is immediately gone if they draft this kid. Because this kid could be flexed out wide, slot, fullback, 2 tight end set, one by one off of a tight end's hip. He can line up across the board. And this team hasn't had a second tight end in a very long time that's as productive as this kid, or potentially as productive as this kid.
I don't know if this team values the 2 tight end sets the way that we want them to, though, Tony.
It's not about valuing right now. It's about prepping yourself for the future. Kittle's got 1 more year. This is his last year on his deal. And if they decide, once they decide what Purdy's going to get, and if they can't keep Kittle financially because of the financial commitment to Purdy, which I think they should be all right, because I think they're going to be the way they're going to work Purdy's contract. It's going to be very creative, and they're not going to be that bad, but they're not going to be able to spend freely. So
I think after Purdy gets signed, the Niners are still going to have $40 million.
I think they might
still have $40 million. Yeah.
But your objective with this draft is about making your team better now. You have 4 picks out of the first 100 picks in this draft. If you don't walk away with 3 instant contributors and 2 starters out of those 4, that's a problem.
I agree.
Now, I just think if it's best player, those are 2 options. If it's best player per need, I think that's where you're going to see the defensive linemen come in. I'm not big on Banks, the tackle from Texas. I thought Ohio State gave him fits when they played Kevin Banks. Not saying he's not good. It could have just been a bad day. It could have been. He's a good tackle, but who really I like Campbell from LSU. I like his demeanor. I like his intensity. I like how he's wired. I like Connolly from Oregon, maybe on day 2. But what I've been reading, he's been flying up the draft boards. I don't know how he's flying up the draft board because there's no combine, but whatever. There's no bowl games yet. He will be at that bowl. He'll be, I think, in the Senior Bowl or the East-West Shrine game, one of them. But
what do you think about Josh Simmons from Ohio State? I know you were talking about.
I didn't get to see him because of the knee injury.
Okay.
I think he had a knee injury, right? Or he had an ankle?
I know he had a leg injury. I don't know. But, I mean, he's going to be in the draft. He's going to be there. And when he played, he was good.
He is. He also transferred in from nothing, from San Diego State. So he came to Ohio State. He was originally a right tackle. He worked to go to the left side. And then he got hurt. Like, he played, then he got hurt. But, I mean, I think if you take him at 11, which I don't think they would, but if you take the team takes him high, there's question marks, right? This is his first year playing left on the left side. So usually your guys that you take that high are left tackles. They're foundational pieces. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, listen, it's very early. When I'm slow at work, I just watch YouTube highlights. I watch games and I just watch guys play. I've been watching a lot of the bowl games, and Banks is right now rated the top tackle in his draft. I like Banks, but I just like the way Campbell plays. Campbell plays with a chip on the shoulder. And I think they need to change the mentality of this offensive line.
This is why I think Kyle has – I'm not going to say Kyle. I'm going to say Forrester. I think Forrester has a little bit of apprehension with starting rookies. And so I think this is why free agency is going to be more important than the draft. Free agency is going to tell us what we're going to do in the draft. It does every year for every team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's tough to start talking about for me, let me speak for just myself. It's tough to start talking about the draft without knowing what's going to happen in free agency. And it's tough to start talking about free agency if you don't know what schemes you're talking about anymore, you know? I wish there was a website that told us the contracts of coaching staffs.
There is none.
Because
you can't even Google.
I know. Huh? No, yeah, there's nothing available. Right? You just hear, oh, the Niners hired this guy as a coach. It's like, wait, what happened? Why? Oh, the other contract just expired. They just didn't bring him back. So there's no way of knowing how many years does Kocurek have left on his contract? How many years does the other Chris Forrester have left on his? Like, nobody knows these answers. You know what I'm saying? All I've heard about Forrester season after season after season, I mean, not Forrester, Kocurek, is that he does not want to change position groups. He doesn't want to be a DC. Well, how long are you going to handcuff the Niners as being their defensive line coach? And what have you done to earn a contract re-up? I'm sorry, I've been saying it for years now. I think I'm 2 or 3 years in. I think Chris Kocurek is overrated.
See, I don't like that. I think that's a major red flag. I'm sorry.
I don't see it. You've invested more in that position group than any other position group on the team.
I don't understand how you would not want an opportunity to grow.
Oh, you think it's a red flag that he doesn't want to move up? Yeah, exactly.
I think he's just comfortable.
That's a problem. The comfort is what's hurting us right now. You keep saying, why do we keep sticking with the Y9? Why do we keep sticking with the Y9? Why do we keep sticking with Chris Kocurek? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
When I say comfortable with him, I mean comfortable as far as meaning he doesn't want any more responsibility.
Yeah.
And with that being said, the scheme of the Y9 is pin your ears back and look at the quarterback. There's no design. There's no stunting. There's no slanting. It's just go. Scream, right. Yell, get off the fucking ball, and go.
Right. Yep. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. You can't bring in Warren Sapp to be the defensive line coach.
He's with Colorado.
As I was gonna say, he's with Colorado, so he's not. I don't think he's going anywhere. And even if Dion ends up taking a coaching job, I think he would bring Warren Sapp with him. If I'm being honest with you, so I don't think that the Niners have a shot at bringing in Warren Sapp, DJ. And they answered your question. Jackson Dart was the quarterback that Tony was talking about earlier.
Yeah, the Ole Miss kid, the kid who transferred from USC.
It's not Jackson like Michael. There's an X. It's JAX. SON. So, I mean, Tony, was there any other thoughts that you want to get off? Like I said, we haven't heard from you in a long time. People are very excited to get your thoughts on things. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we wrap this one up? We're approaching the hour and a half mark. I don't want to keep you too long. I know we both got stuff to do in the morning. So, what are any other thoughts? I don't want to cut you short at all. So,
well, I'm good. I mean, I could talk for a little more. I've got not much to do, but I just feel that. I feel that this is a crucial, very crucial offseason for this team.
Yeah, we're at a crossroad. I think
this is. You're right. We're at a crossroad. That's the right word to use. Because it's either going to be you continue and progress forward. You either ascend or you're going to descend. Because if you miss this. And this is the I'm going to be honest with you. This is the repercussions of the Trey Lance trade, why they're in this position. Not having those first picks for those 2 that thing. Not having the first round picks for those 2 years was crucial. And drafting as far as where is Jackson right now? Where is he? What any update on his injury? How is he going to come back? Drake Jackson.
Right.
That's a piece that's going to be accounted for on this roster. Hopefully he could heal and make a comeback. I mean, because he has the most important thing that you want in a pass rusher, and that's the athleticism, the bend, and the ability to get around that edge. It's just he doesn't know how to use his hands. He can't disengage. Once he engages, he doesn't know how to get off of it. So,
and when he's healthy, it's basically this is going to sound bad, but it's his rookie season all over again. He still has to develop. You're not going to learn to use your hands in the trenches without actually playing.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit there, and I know people want to talk about the knife training that we saw Aaron Donald doing and all that stuff, right? Like that's not going to teach you much, in the trenches. You have to learn, like Tony said, how to disengage.
Which was not a real knife whatsoever, but okay.
Right.
Let's just clear that.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's no training that you can do in a gym that's going to prepare you for work in the trenches like that. It's just not. There's nothing you can do. This team has to get back to a lot of fundamentals. I need a defensive coordinator that values teaching and getting back to tackling fundamentals. A lot of people don't want to talk about that, but that was a major issue this year for the 49ers. There were times where we were in perfect position to make plays, and just the angles were poor. Tackling was just freaking terrible. And every time they asked Sorensen about it, we just got to make the tackle. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for breaking that down for us. You know what I'm saying? Like they just seemed like they just kind of went with the flow all year long, everywhere. So it was something. It was just a very, very frustrating season to watch unfold, game after game. And you know what? It was so repetitive, Tony. First half, you felt like, oh, we got a shot. Second half, meltdown after meltdown after meltdown. The things that made Fred Warner so special the first 4 weeks just completely went away afterwards, right? The forced fumbles and the turnovers and all that stuff, they just vanished. How many turnovers did the Niners end up having in the last 6 games of the season?
I don't even think. I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was just bad football all around, man. It was just, I don't know. And not for nothing, it looked like a bunch of people being content because they know they're working for their buddy. I hate to say that, but that's just what it felt like. It felt like no one was pressured. Hey, Sorensen, it's not working out, but don't worry, we're not going to fire you. We'll find somewhere else to put you. What's the incentive to improve?
That's ridiculous. I can't. If that transpired, no. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's no if. It happened. He's going to be on this roster.
Listen. As a positional coach, 100%, I don't care. Not even a positional coach. Someone to work with a group, but not as a coordinator. No.
Right.
I'm sorry. No.
Yeah.
You can't. Don't. No.
Can you imagine having a job and they say, hey, no matter how bad you are, don't worry, you're still going to be here. I would kill for that kind of job security.
Dick, what I don't understand is, right, the defense that gives them fits. Kansas City Chiefs. That defense gives them fits. Mike McDaniel in Seattle. His scheme started to evolve and start really hitting its stride in the latter part of the year. Why wouldn't you want to get something like that? Dude, go interview Wink. Can I curse?
Yeah, hell yeah. We're an hour and a half in, bro.
Interview Wink Martindale from Michigan. Get him out of Michigan. That motherfucker live or die by the blitz. He was aggressive as shit, consistent pressures. Quarterbacks, teams hated to face that defense. Go get Rex Ryan. Strike fear into opposing offenses. Not just sit back and cover 7 and rush 4. What are you doing? You're going to get picked apart.
I want a cocky.
Can't bang these wide
confident-
receivers no more. They don't call holding for the Niners' sake at all. So what are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah. I will say this. I do think that Robert Saleh would come in here with a little bit of swag. I think he would instill some confidence in the guys. But like you just said, Rex Ryan, where is he at? What's he doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine having that kind of confidence coming into the building, right? Imagine what that would do for people. Do you know what Rex Ryan would do with a guy like Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner? You know what I'm saying? With a Nick Bosa in front of them?
I have to disagree with you with something. It's not swag. It's aggression. That's what you need.
Yeah.
Swag,
Yeah.
Swag and aggression are two different things. You want someone to come in there with the mentality saying, I'm going to come after you until you beat me. Remember Greg Williams?
Oh, God.
Do you remember him?
Do I? Yeah, New Orleans. Yep.
He was grimy as shit, but you know what? If you beat him, you earned it.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's another reason I like Dennis Allen so much. Aggressive as shit. Also in New Orleans, right? Like that's where I remember Dennis Allen. Like that's what I like to see. I like to see that. That Saints defense a couple years ago was the offense was trash, but the defense kept them in every game. You know what I'm saying? Like you couple something like that with the Kyle Shanahan-led offense. Come on, man. We're talking 13
100%.
wins a year. You're talking 13 wins a season, man. So it's just tough, man. It's just tough. I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know where we're gonna be, and it's kind of frustrating, man. I hated seeing how many people got hired that we didn't even bring in.
But that's
like you said,
that's why it's so important to really sit down and say, do we need a change? Now is your opportunity. Right now is your opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you get on the phone with Andy Reid and say, can I speak to David Merritt again and Brandon Daly, the linebacker coach?
Right.
Bring them in. Interview them. I know David Merritt kind of dropped a couple comments about Kyle Shanahan's offense and how he called the Super Bowl. But sit down and be like, all right, David, you said what you said. It's over.
Wait, hold on. Don't just speed past that. I think that's important. What were the comments? Let's talk about it.
I don't remember the comments.
They were disparaging, right?
Yeah, they were negative. They were just about how they use certain players or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, it basically was. We're predictable, right? Like, I mean, it wasn't anything. It wasn't like, oh man, it's such a tough.
I don't think it was predictable. I think it was the lack of using your top talent, getting the most out of your top talent.
But imagine that being
was like, okay, I know on 3rd and 13, you're going to that right hash on a slant.
Yeah.
Or you know what I'm saying? That's predictable. But getting the best and maximizing your talent, I think that's what it was.
Who in this building this year had the balls to say something like that to Kyle Shanahan and challenge him? That's the issue. This is what happens when you have a bunch of buddies working for.
George Kittle said something. Yep. You know that, right? You know that, right? You know that, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. These are pretty cool. This is what happens when you watch on Twitch, guys. You can see cool little. I like these little. I don't even know if you call them emojis, but this is dope. That's Fred Warner right there. I like that. You see the bang bang for the Niner gang. It's in the saloon font. I like that, man. Shout out to the people out on Twitch right now. Thank you guys for keeping the show entertaining. I like it. Look at this. They got Trent.
That's Mariah.
Yeah. You gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. Shout out. All right. So, wait, who was that? Is that Dion? They got Dion in there? Oh wait, that wasn't Dion. Yeah, that is Dion. That's Dion. There's the GOAT. Let's go. Me and Mariah. Yeah, man. So, man, Tony, man, listen, it's been a fun episode. We have to do this again sooner rather than later. This is the time of year where the faithful deserve to hear your voice, your thoughts on everything. So You got to let me know when you want to do it again, and not just here. Like I'm sure you need to let people know when you're available. Join other shows. You know what I mean? You have insight that people are fiending for, man. You got to give it to them more often. You got to give it to them more often.
We will see. Hopefully, I know I promised Mariah to come on. I got to go on her show too.
See, there you go. I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't going to say it, but yeah, like, come on. That's why I said you got to go on other people's shows.
So you want to come on and chat? I was like, I'm got to work.
Yeah.
It's tough working midnights.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you do it anymore, man. I haven't worked an overnight shift in probably 15 years, man. Tony will come back on once we hire a DC. Oh, will you come back once we hire a DC?
To talk? Sure.
He's got to. He's got to tell us about the scheme, what changes he might bring, and all that stuff. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll force him, guys. I'll force him. And then I'll get him on some behind-the-scenes stuff on Patreon so he can really, really say what he wants to say without offending. Are you drinking a Fresca? What the hell is that? No promo. Sparkling plain. It literally says plain water. You and your dirty waters and your plain. It says plain.
Oh, it's seltzer.
Yeah, I know that, but it says plain. Like the flavor is plain. Like, come on. Why did it even? Who puts the word plain? No, I like seltzer water. I told you I bought the Soda Stream just so I can make my own seltzer water, right? Like that's I bought it, but like
plain seltzers.
You ever have club soda versus seltzer
I
water?
don't like club soda. No.
No, really. I think I
like
club. I like club soda more than I like seltzer water. I think the bubbles are smaller. I don't know how to explain it. Like the carbonation is like it's more fine.
The bubble gives you bubble guts.
Well, like when I drink seltzer water, I feel like I'm swallowing big pockets of air from the carbonation, where with the club soda, it's small, tiny bubbles that I'm swallowing. I don't know how to explain it. It's all gas later on. You're going to be belching and stuff, but it's smaller. That's all. So,
yeah.
All right, man. Listen, that's it. I got nothing else for you guys. Tony, anything else?
Nah. You just got to see who they hire, man.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be solid, but we'll see. And just one thing,
updated as best we can.
This is the thing, right? Let's just say hypothetically, they do good this year. Sal's defense turns out to be good. We're right back in square one next year.
Because he's going to be a head coaching candidate. Not for nothing.
That's why this team is in a tough spot as far as what this hire right here, because it's important, right?
I'm not hiring him if he's not committing to 2 years.
But it doesn't matter. If he gets a head coaching job, he's allowed out.
I'm not hiring unless he commits to 2 years. D'Amico turned down a head coaching job. The Vikings wanted D'Amico, right? Wasn't the Vikings that
yes, he could turn it down, but I mean, if he goes through the interviews and he's like, "Oh, this is a great opportunity," that contract ain't holding him.
Go to the interviews, and you better turn them down. You better turn them down. I'm not hiring Salah if I'm not guaranteed 2 years. I'm not going to be back in because now you're 4-4. You can't do that.
This is the problem, right? As bad as this situation could be, 3 of 3 coordinators in 3 years. They hire Salah. They commit to this scheme again. They draft for this scheme. Then what?
Now you're stuck with the scheme for the next 3 years.
Yeah,
because you drafted for it. You know what I'm saying? If you draft for this scheme again, it's 3 more years of the same shit. Now you can tweak the scheme, right? We can run this, but we don't have to do the wide 9. You get what I'm saying? We can run this, but we can actually go out and get a free safety and a strong safety, not this interchangeable safety bullshit that has been driving me crazy. Like no one talked about that. Like I hate that. I hate that.
I'm telling you right now, if they stick with this scheme, they better draft Xavier Watts.
Why?
Because he's the best center field ball hawking free safety in college football.
Right. Free safety. Stop getting these guys and saying, yeah, you were a free safety, but we're going to see what you can do in the box. No. You want a box guy? Fucking draft a box guy.
Well, they have 2 box guys.
Yeah, I know. Slow
No,
as fuck.
I think Mustafa could play deep. I do.
When you said two, I was talking about Hufanga and Brown is who I was talking about.
I don't
I
think
think
Hufanga's coming back.
I hope not.
I don't think Greenlaw's coming back either. The only way you get Greenlaw back, is if he goes out there, feels the market out, and says, "Fuck it, it's not worth it. I'm coming back one more year and approve a deal." That's the only way you're going to get.
I think he's coming back, and I think he gets at least a 3-year deal. He already took a small deal from the Niners. I think he gets at least a 3-year deal, and the only reason I think that is because he was healthy enough to play down the stretch, and they put him on the shelf. I think that they said, you know what, we've seen enough, because when he came in, he was electric, and the defense looked different. The defense felt different while he was in there.
DJ Malone just put. That's it right there.
No way. There's no way. There's no way. Greenlaw does not get out of this building.
Can you imagine him and Aziz next to each other?
I can. It's a lot of penalties. It's a lot of penalties and a lot of fights and a lot of suspensions.
I might become a Texas fan. Holy shit, with them too?
Listen,
oh my god!
Can you tell me another reason they would shelf this kid? So listen to this. Your last impression of Greenlaw prior to when he finally came off of injury this year was what he did in the Super Bowl. And he was a man possessed those first 3 or 4 possessions before his injury.
Correct.
A man possessed. They couldn't do shit against us when Greenlaw was on that field, right? So then you go through the season and you're kind of finding your way. You're kind of meandering with the linebacker play because there was a ton of linebacker injuries. It wasn't just Greenlaw, right? Like Fred was out there trying, but I mean, you got DFF one game, you got Winters one game. They were just plugging and playing. But then you see Greenlaw come back, and you go right back to what you saw against Kansas City. You go right back. You see Fred change the way he plays now that Greenlaw was next to him. There's a value in that. I think they shelved him and said, hey, we've seen enough. You got tight a couple times. We're not going to risk it because your future is important to us. To us. Not just to you, to us.
Now,
and I think that's why they did it.
I need clarification because off the top of my head, the game that they pulled him out versus the Rams, it was the same leg that the injury was sustained.
No, they said it was the opposite leg. They said it was the opposite. Oh shit!
No,
was it the same leg but a different injury.
The next game it was the opposite leg.
That's right. Yeah. You're right.
So now
it was the same leg, but it wasn't the same injury.
His new injury was the same leg that he had the Achilles with, and then the injury the next game. They sat him down because it was the inflammation. He had issues with the other Achilles.
Yes.
That's scary because now you're talking about, is he compensating? It's the same thing with Christian McCaffrey.
Yep. I'm about to say, running backs. You see it more with running backs, but yeah, absolutely.
That's scary. Yep. And I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but when you see him coming off of one left leg injury, and now he has an issue with the right, that means he's overcompensating for his left.
But they saw it early, and they housed him.
100%. But now the issue is this going to be a continuing issue, or is it something that he could rehabilitate, get it up to strength? Now, the question is, week 1, when that ball's rolled out in the field, he comes prancing onto the field, and if that starts flaring up, that's not good.
Yeah. But you've got how many months now to get that right? You can go out there, you can get all kind of injections. You
have to talk about this. That's the problem. That's what
he deserves it. He deserves
it. No, I understand it, but in his mind, what he wants and what they're able to do could be, you know what I'm saying? It might not align. That's all I'm just trying to say.
I think we're in better position than what people think. Let me ask you
No, we are, but we also have we only have 40 people under contract right now.
Under contract. Yeah, no, I understand.
That's not good. That's not good. Yeah, if you have 40 people under your contract, you should have a minimum of $80 million in cap space. We only have 50.
No one's got 80. Oh, stop it. No one's got that laying around right now. No, I think the Niners have the most cap space.
No, they have the most rollover. There's teams with over $100 million in cap space.
Who?
That's serious.
There's no one in the playoffs. No one good. I'm not saying that they don't exist. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears have that kind of money. I wouldn't be surprised if the maybe Cleveland now. Is Cleveland out of that Watson
You
stuff,
said
right?
Cleveland? You said Cleveland?
No. The Patriots, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots have that kind of money. That's another one. Like it's teams that have no one there though. Like it's those teams that are basically like rebuilding and starting it all over.
This is scary. This is fucking scary. Holy shit. New England has 125 million. That's not including any rollover or any non-hit incentives. This is just right now. And this is without the project. They have the cap projected at 275.
Right. That's just the projection. That's not what's actually rolled in yet.
Las Vegas at 95. The Commanders at 93. Arizona at 72. Chicago 69. Detroit 67. Chargers 64. Minnesota 64. And then you have the Niners at 51.
Yeah. We're top 10. We make it work. We'll make it work.
They don't show. What is this thing? What is this here? We got to X this out. We don't need this. Go away. Trying to see what the. Why can't I get rid of this?
I don't think there's a chance, though. I see your comment. That's why you give him a 1 year prove it. I don't think there's a chance in hell that Greenlaw is signing another 1 year prove it deal with the Niners. I don't think there's a chance in hell. There's no way he's signing that. I wouldn't sign it if I was him. And I think the Niners would be slapping him in the face. What else do you want me to prove? I put my body on the line for you guys every time. There's no way I'm asking him to prove shit.
You want to hear something scary?
What,
right now, the 49ers, top 51, they have $273 million worth of contracts.
How do we have a top 51 and only 40 people under contract?
I don't know.
That's the wild part. Because
I mean, like the exclusive that they're including, like the exclusive rights guys coming back, the practice squad guys. Yeah. Total cap space, they're at 51. They said total cap allocations, they're at $279 million. So they're over the projected cap right now if it wasn't for that rollover. That's scary.
That's what the rollover's for, though.
That's what it's
for. I think we'll be all right. The cap space is not something that I'm worried about at all.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I think they'll be all right in 2026. 2026, Kittle comes off. Even though I think they're going to do a new deal for Kittle. I think he's going to be a life 49er along with Warner. I think
Travis Kelce having that playoff game that he just had a couple days ago gives the Niners the green light to say, Kittle, we're bringing you back. You're a Niner for life.
Yeah. I think Debo will be off after 26 in 26. I think Trent might be gone. So they're going to get money back. They're going to start clearing an avenue.
For sure.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. Listen, guys, we're going to continue to break this stuff down all off season. We got a lot of time to kill. We promise you guys we're going to keep you guys updated. And I've seen the comments in here. I haven't put them all up here. I haven't responded to them all. But I see a lot of people saying that this is what they've been missing from Nothing But Niners and are these kind of talks, getting back to this kind of stuff. So you guys prepare for it. We're going to be here. We're going to bring it to you guys. We're going to get up out of here now, though. I want to thank you all. Again, round of applause to you guys. A round of applause to my man, Tony. Tony, you have been excellent. I really appreciate it, man. You want to tell the people where to find you? I didn't even put the names up here. I don't even know if you typed it in. Let's see if you typed it in.
I told you I don't know my damn Twitter handle. Wait, hold on.
Let's see. Hold on. Show display names. You got Tony.
Oh, yeah.
He's just Tony.
NJ
Niner fan 499.
That's my Twitter. Yep.
Yeah. NJ Niner fan 499. Yeah, X. Yeah, there you go. All right. We're going to get up out of here, guys. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. We appreciate it. You remember how to sign out, Tony?
Sure.
Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always
Remain faithful.
Remain faithful. Peace.
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey, see, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. Nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners.